States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, Lisa, can we get a roll call, please?
Blair,
Here.
Broughton,
Here.
Palma,
Here.
Marshall,
Here.
Thurman, Unruh,
Here.
Rumble.
Here. All right. Before we approve the agenda, we do need to remove the public hearing at the top and item K under new business. Any other issues with the agenda?
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Do you know when that's rescheduled for yet?
Nope. I'm still waiting for a couple of responses.
Okay. And are we going to have any budget workshops before we determine that?
Probably
at all?
not.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. All right. Any other questions? Okay. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
So moved.
Thank you, Bob.
Second.
You guys are
Steve. All right. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, motion carries. All right, that brings us into the first public hearing, which is the Upper Bushman Lake Special Assessment District Number 3 assessment roll. So we need a motion to open that hearing.
So moved.
I'll support.
Supported by Raza. Thank you, Rosalind and Dana. And we will take a roll call on that one.
Marshall,
Yes.
Thurman,
Yes.
Unruh,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Broughton,
Yes.
DePalma,
Yes.
Rumble.
Yes. All right, is there anybody here to speak on the Upper Bushman Lake Special Assessment District Number 3? All right.
Sharon Kasiba, 3990 South Sashabaw Road. We are the access for the weed treatment, and I'm just wondering if there's any plans to increase our fee, seeing as how you guys are going to get more money from everybody. I thought maybe we should get a little bit more money. Nobody even broached that, did they?
Are we discussing things?
Well, it's a public hearing, but
I can give you 5 minutes.
There's no extra money coming in for us. There's only extra money coming in to cover whatever costs are for the treatment of the lake.
Well, the money that we get yearly was built into it, I guess.
And it is this year.
So there's no plans to give us a little
No,
pittance more, huh?
no.
Okay.
anybody else here to speak on? Yes.
I don't know if I need that, but I'll try.
It'll lower you.
Okay, my name's Randy Gossett. I'm at 3920, and I own 3956 and the 2 adjoining lots. I have 2 questions. First, since I own 4 parcels, how much am I going to have to pay? All adjoining.
These 2 are in charge
So-
of the districts.
With those parcels, so if you have multiple parcels and they're only used as like a single family, you're only charged 1 assessment.
Okay.
So I believe for that one,
I believe I think I recall your situation directly. It's actually 2 different homes
Yes.
on 4 different parcels, correct?
Correct.
So you'll be charged as 2, not 4.
Okay. I want to make sure it wasn't 4.
It's
Yep,
not.
nope.
Good. The second question is, there was a discussion tonight about going from, I don't know the numbers exactly, it's roughly another $1,000 for access to the lake? That's on the letter that was sent out?
Oh, so I did include that in the letter. So what we have under unfinished business,
Yeah, my seat.
that amount that we passed at our last board meeting for that resolution, that amount did not have that lake access in there. So we need to amend that to have that included in the cost.
And here's my question. They go across my properties for their access. So why do they have to have additional money to pay for it? They've been putting it in on my properties now for the last 3 years. I've got the little signs, I've got a collection. So what's this access cost? I'm sorry, I have,
Well, there seems to be a discrepancy, but do you talk to your neighbors? Because apparently the access was going,
George and Sharon are on the other side of the canal. I own half the canal, they own the other half. And that's
Okay.
where they put the stuff in at.
well, it was my understanding that it was either one or the other. How is it
Right.
both your properties using access? It's.
But again,
Down our driveway and go in.
That's the only way they can get down there. There's no way to get a boat down there unless they come down our driveway.
Okay, well.
come across my
I
property,
guess
which they
really,
do.
We're kind of getting into the minutia of something that really needs to be worked out amongst the homes on the lake. This isn't something the board decides. It's
Oh, no,
something-
don't misunderstand. In the letter, they said there was an additional cost for lake access.
So
I'm trying to figure out what that is.
So how that was worded was that we were going to be amending that resolution to include costs that had to be included. And I think because there is, what is it, 5 or 250 that goes
It's
out?
$250 a year, but that goes to the Cosibas. Nothing to nothing to you, but that's something you need to work out amongst the homeowners. If you want money for it as well, and they want to up what it's going to cost to do that, that's amongst the homeowners. That's
See, I wasn't aware that, it's okay if you're getting it, you're my neighbors anyway, but they're coming across both my properties to put the stuff in. So I wasn't aware that there was
Yeah,
even a
I
fee
didn't know
there.
they were going across your
it's
property.
amongst yourselves.
I think this was something that was set up like,
Both of
the
them.
said like 10
They put
years
the
ago.
little signs up and pour the stuff in.
Oh, I see what he's saying.
Yeah,
They're putting stuff in on his property. But what they're doing is they're coming down our driveway to actually launch the boat.
You work it out amongst
Yeah.
the homeowners how you want to split those fees.
All we do is collect the money and distribute it and pay for it. We don't get
Okay.
involved in the details of
That's
your
all I wanted to
contract with
know.
each other.
I thank you very much.
Sure.
Anybody else on the Upper Bushman? All right. Can we get a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Thank you, Dana.
Support.
Thank you, Rosalind. All right, and we need to open, or we need to vote on that first. Dana, all those in favor? Please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
That's why we're not spending money.
I know, but I
Took a
think
roll call to get it going.
Yeah, I think you need a,
it
All
has to
right,
be
we'll do a roll call. That's fine, sorry.
Thurman,
Yes.
Unruh,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Broughton,
Yes.
DePalma,
yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
Rumble.
Yes. All right. So the next public hearing, we're looking for a motion to open the Shelmar Lane Special Assessment District Number 4, initial escrow and surplus.
So moved.
Support.
Kathy and Dana, thank you. All right, we'll just keep with the roll calls then.
Unruh,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Broughton,
Yes.
DePalma,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
Thurman,
Yes.
Rumble.
Yes. Is anybody here for the Shelmar Lane Special Assessment District? Oh,
Nope.
go ahead.
You go. Yeah. Thanks for coming.
Thank
I
you.
am Dave Olney, 702 Shelmar. I'm just here to speak in favor of the SAD number 4 for Shelmar. The road's in great shape. It continues to be in great shape because of the SAD, and we appreciate everyone's support.
All right, anybody else on Shelmar Lane? Nope. All right, we need a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Thank you, Bob.
Support.
Thank you, Rosalind, and we'll go with the roll call vote to close the hearing.
Blair,
Yes.
Broughton,
Yes.
DePalma,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
Thurman,
Yes.
Unruh,
Yes.
Rumble.
Yes. Okay, that brings us into our reports. We have the treasurer report, the general ledger report, designated report, reconciliation report, Parks and Recreation report. Fred, did you want to say anything?
I haven't denied the opportunity yet all these years, so. Only thing I wanted to add is I have a meeting with the Lions Club tomorrow night on pickleball. we're looking at trying to get the community involved in changing the old skate park over to pickleball. And Lions Club are showing some sponsorship interest amongst some other people as well. And if you got any questions, I can answer those at this time.
I have one question. You mentioned the school, trying to get the limited space, which I totally understand. I know they have a lot of sports going on, but you didn't say anything about the pool. Has there been any movement with getting some pool and
Yes,
some
thank you for
classes?
bringing that up. We have contacted the pool administration over there, and we do, they haven't gave us the date yet, but our Pee Wee Sports Camp and our youth camp will have one session at the pool, as far as we got right now with that, but we're working on it.
Okay.
My issue right now is equipment. If we want to run pool volleyball, pool basketball, Marco Polo, whatever. If we don't have any equipment, this is all brand new to us. So I really got to take some more time. I was thinking after Septemberfest, I know it's going to be October, but that'll give me a little bit more time. And then we lost Kara for a few weeks. She tore her foot up, and now she's got to get surgery. I try to tell her to stay away from those bounce houses with her child, those trampoline places where she hurt herself. So I just got notified that last night.
So is Venus going to be able to fill in for?
Venus is going to have to fill in. I'm going to have to do a budget amendment on that because I don't have enough money for her, but I'll have to figure out something. There's some line items I can move some stuff around. It's not a good time for Kara, of course, to be gone, but we'll work
Especially
on it.
pre-September Fest.
Yeah. And we're up to around 50 vendors right now. So we're kind of at the low end, I think, at this time. But we'll see what happens. So, any other questions?
Thanks, Fred.
You're setting up at 2:30, by the way.
Yeah, I need to talk to you because I might be doing the sound in fact, I will be doing the sound for the band before us.
Okay.
So,
All right.
and that's why I wanted to find out about the first band because I might do the sound for them also
All right.
if they need it.
All right, good.
All right, thanks, Fred. Edna Burton Senior Center report is in there, and Faye is not here tonight. We have the CDBG report in there as well. Trustee reports, Dana, do you have anything?
The Retirement Oversight Committee met, and we discussed regarding funding and liability and the actuarials and the reports and stuff. There's really no details to give yet. The actuarial on the OPEB has not been completed yet, and so I don't have any details.
Do they give you a percent that they're?
It was
that they reveal?
87% from 2020.
That's that percent, but what about an investment results? Do they give you? Are they still functioning at 7, or are they?
She said OPEB. You're talking.
Yeah, which one are
pension.
you talking?
I thought it was either one. I thought
It
was
is both, so which one are you?
Either one.
So I don't know if, has MERS updated the percentage? I don't know if I
know.
saw.
I'm just asking.
I'm
I
asking
haven't- if you
Kathy
don't
if
know,
she
that's
saw
okay.
that. I don't. That, one year they gave us new, like they refigured out percentages based on, and I don't think they do that every year, like it's been like every 5 years they change the percent maybe?
No, they do update it, but I think it's in the 70s, low 70s is what I'm thinking.
No, he means the percent of investment, like what
Yeah,
return.
the
Do you mean
discount rate that they're
return rate?
using, it's a discount rate that I refer to it as. It's just
Okay.
based on this assumed
Oh, okay.
investment
Oh, I
percentage.
see what you're
We can
saying.
get you
Yeah.
at,
No,
you're at
Dana's
80% or
correct.
85%.
Dana's
or-
correct.
It's seven,
The
yeah, it was
percent that
7 and a
we have to-
half,
Still-
but they
okay.
haven't changed that yet. They don't do that all the time where they call it smoothing, where they
Right.
say, and then they change what our
Just-
percentage is. But we haven't had our OPEB actuarial done for this year or.
It's just that when Kathy throws out a number that we're at, what was it again you said?
87% that's percent.
For the
Right, but
pension.
that's based on an assumption of a discount rate of X, and so that's why I was wondering how that, because depending, they could say 6%, and then all of a sudden you're going to be down to.
With OPEB, there's no discount rate, but it's percent funded is what I was giving you.
Right, but that's still based on an assumption of what we're making on investment.
Yeah.
Not us, but
Yeah.
them. It's okay. I kind of should
But
have asked that
that
was-
question ahead
Yeah.
of time.
But that's our pension funding, right, Kathy? The 80.
No, 87 was OPEB, I thought.
87 was OPEB.
I think that's what I wrote for my report.
But that,
Okay.
Oh, no, I didn't. I just said we were,
When they do that, they say, okay, we're going to assume a rate of return of
yeah.
blah. That's what I was
Yeah.
trying to. Got you.
And I don't have that.
Is that it, Dina?
yeah, so it's 87 for OPEB that Kathy has written down. And then, did you have the pension written down or no?
That's still much better than most townships.
The pension was 70.
Okay.
Yeah, they want us at least above 40% for OPEB. Pension too?
You know, I was listening, just to throw this
Both of
out
them.
there, and this is just something longer term to consider. I was watching the Groveland meeting, and Bob DePalma made a very good point of, let's fund at 100 because they're getting a much better rate of return on their money than even I can at our investments with Oakland County. So we figure let's fund fully, and then be able to reap the benefits of that rate of return that they're getting that we can't figure out how to get, without being professional investors. So it's just something to consider.
Well, we've been working that way, but every year it changes based on how much is used, what the percent of return is, and just the calculation. And that's why I said there's something, an actuarial or the interim report that still has to come out this year.
And it's easier for them to do. They don't have nearly the retirees that we have, Brandon, so it's a little bit easier for them to figure out, I would guess. So anyways, I'm sorry. All right, I digress.
Bob?
The only thing, we had a fire board meeting, but I will not steal your thunder. I'll let you discuss anything you want to discuss from that meeting.
Oh, I mean, there's nothing on the agenda about that tonight, so.
Right, I know.
All right, Steve.
We had on 24th of August, we had the Planning Commission meeting to recommend the ordinances that are upcoming and discuss about the master plan. And that's it.
Okay, Kathy?
Okay, I have a lot to say. I see that the truth and taxation hearing and the item K was removed from the agenda. But I just wanted to give you some background on truth and taxation. We do a truth and taxation hearing because we want to be transparent to our residents. Typically, what MTA wants us to do is to adopt our millage rates along with our budget. But our budget we don't do until December, and we don't have to do it until mid-December. But for the millage rates, we have to get those into Oakland County by October 1st. So we adopt our millage rates in September so that we can send them in. And then we do the truth and taxation hearing just so the public can speak to the millage rates that we that we're sending in. So anyways, I just wanted to say that past year I did put a millage rate, advertise a millage rate, and I got totally reprimanded by the board for putting it in the paper before the board decided what they wanted to put in the paper. And I noticed that it seems to be going that way this time. I've never had a millage rate proposal on the board without first doing a police budget workshop prior to setting the millage rate, because we have to look at our budget so we know how much we need to collect. So that needs to be done prior to us setting the millage rate, and ideally even advertising for the millage rate. But even if we advertise for a certain millage rate, we are allowed to change that rate at our meeting. So I was looking at the police millage. We are over, our fund balance is over 50%. It's actually 67%, so we're in really good shape. In 2020, we increased our fund balance by $4,771,164. Part of that was because we received $110,000 that was due to the COVID reimbursement grant. So our fund balance is better in our police fund than it is in our fire department fund. And then in looking at the 2020 numbers, 1/10 of a mill is worth about a little less than $60,000. And I don't feel that we need to increase our fund balance because we're already in a good spot with our fund balance. I think all we need to do is fund our expenditures. And I do believe that we can bring down our millage rate for our residents at least to 3.5 mils, maybe even 3.4 mils. But until we have a budget workshop,
Yeah,
I think
we're
we
not
need to.
recommending any changes to it. I've already talked to Lieutenant Glover about it, and neither one of us are recommending a change to it.
But the board needs to see the.
And they will, when the budgets are due.
But before we set the millage rate, we need to see the police budget, Jason.
No, you don't. It's not required by law. And I will have it done, like I told you at the last meeting. And you emailed me again about it today, and I told you I would have it done.
Well, what I'm saying is, from my figures, from looking at it, we don't need to overcharge our residents. We don't need to, we can
Just like you would
lower
say,
it.
I'm in charge of the budget, not you.
I'm just giving my input to you.
About something that's not on the agenda.
It was on the agenda, and it was in the paper, and it's coming up.
Okay.
And so anyways, that's my input. Then, let's see. I'm glad to see that the census report showed that Brandon Township population has increased by 209 individuals. So that will help us with our revenue sharing amounts. I attended the Retirement Oversight Committee meeting on August 17th, and we are recommending another 1% increase to the township for the MERS retirement contribution as part of the employees' 2022 wage increase. Our OPEB funding is in good shape, which we just talked about. Again, we talked about the possibility of moving the township employees to a health savings plan to decrease our liability. I am waiting to hear back from Watkins Ross on the cost to compute that calculation. On August 19th, I attended the Oakland County MTA quarterly meeting at Oakland University. We went on a tour and learned Oakland University was founded in 1957 as an extension of MSU. Now it is the 7th largest of 15 public universities in Michigan. And to the community, they offer free counseling and support services and a no questions asked food pantry. And then just to the rest of the board, I would also like to hear about the MTA classes that are being attended since we made that group purchase earlier in the year. And I know that we've heard from the clerk, but I haven't heard from the supervisor or treasurer as far as classes they've attended. And I'd also like to know what the Oakland County SISMA is doing, and also when the redistricting presentation will be rescheduled.
We've tried, they won't communicate back to us. We cannot get them to give us a date.
For the redistricting?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that's it.
Treasurer Scott.
Yep, we're in our last week of collecting taxes, so things are hopping, and I don't know, things are going very smoothly. We've made a number of changes over the past year, and I like the way the department's running, so it's going well. Taxes are due September 14th. No postmarks are accepted, so get them in for whoever's going to be watching this at this point. That's next Tuesday, I believe. And, you know, we still collect taxes after that date, but then there's a 1% penalty starting on the 15th.
Scott, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. You said the postmark date doesn't matter?
No, it
Has
does
it always
matter.
been-
We do not accept postmark date.
Has it
It's
always
when-
been like
It's
that?
always been that way.
Okay.
In fact, I knew that that was going to be a question for me because it's not something I decided. It's something a board a long time ago decided. And
Oh.
it's really, the northern townships are all kind of moving. If they're not already there, they're moving that way.
Okay.
I was able to pull a bill from 2003. I was out of escrow a long time ago, and it was even on a 2003 bill. So it's been
Okay.
at least that long.
I just never realized, I always come in to pay, but it was just something when you said that, I never realized it. So that way if a resident asks me, because I know some things
Yeah.
allow postmark dates, so I'm glad you said that.
It's not a
Thank
big
you.
problem.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you just said that, so
It's not a big
I
problem.
got the knowledge now, thank you.
Rosalind?
Good evening. Thank you for attending the board meeting for the Charter Township of Brandon. It's hard to believe that we're in September already. Last month, the absentee ballot applications were sent out by the clerk's office, and we have received about 1/3 of them back so far. We are looking for election inspectors for the upcoming election. If you are interested, please stop by the clerk's office for an application. I did also discover tonight that it's not on our website. When we switched websites, there's not an application for election inspectors. But starting tomorrow or the next day, we'll have it up there. So if you want to go online, it'll be on the township website. That's all. Thank you.
All right. Just two things real quick. One, Septemberfest coming up September 25th, right, Fred? All right, so hope everybody's planning on attending that. And then also, we did get another statutory revenue check this week, about $260,000. So that was it for tonight.
You know, can I throw something else in, because you mentioned Septemberfest?
Sure.
Part of Septemberfest is also going to be celebrating the grand opening of the blacksmith shop for the Historical Society.
Oh, cool.
And that's an exciting part. And also, I should have thrown this in my notes. We had our annual picnic last month, and it really wasn't a picnic because we moved it indoors because of COVID and a number of issues. But we celebrated our, what's the term for 90s? Octogenarians would be 80s. What's the 90 people in their 90s? Anyways, folks in their 90s that have been involved with the old mill for a long time. And boy, I met a couple of people that I hadn't met before, and that was a real special thing. People that have been around this town for that long and have really donated a lot of time over the past 50-plus years to be commended. In fact, I think Judy Miracle, she wrote a quickie letter to the editor and mentioned these people, so go back to your paper and see who they are, because they are special people. I should have put that in my notes, so thanks for letting me have a do-over.
That's all right. All right, so that moves us to our correspondence. And we do have the zoning boards of appeals meeting minutes for 5/26/21, planning commission meeting minutes for January 26th of 2021, and a letter from the Oakland Community Health Network. Let's see. So brings us to citizens' comments on agenda items only. We ask that you limit your comments to 3 minutes. Is there anybody? Carl?
Hi, I'm Carl Heydrich, interim superintendent at Brandon School District. I've been with the district for about 10 months. And on the agenda is a school resource officer, and we just appreciate the collaboration with that. It's proactive, it's preventative. Coming into the school system, I think it's a great idea for school safety. School safety is always on our mind. So we appreciate that effort and how it's drawn up through the township and Lieutenant Glover. Thank you all for that. And additionally, collaborative efforts in general with the school district and the township or the village is important to us, and any effort we can make in the future to work together. Appreciative. Thank you.
Thank you, Carl. Any other residents or citizens? Nope. Okay, no discussion items. That brings us into the consent agenda. We have the regular meeting minutes of 8/2/2021. Regular bills in the amount of $16,449.68. Prepays in the amount of $340,744.67. Township benefits from payroll, $35,567.50. and trustee timesheets in the amount of $1,378. Can we get a motion for the consent agenda?
So moved.
Thank you, Steve.
Support.
Thank you, Bob. All right, let's go ahead and do a roll call on that, please.
Broughton,
Yes.
DePalma,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
Thurman,
Yes.
Unruh,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Rumble.
Yes. All right, unfinished business. Rosalind, I'm assuming that's your item?
Yes. So at our last board meeting, when we passed the resolution for the Upper Bushman for the cost, so kind of like at the public hearing, we had for the cost to be around $39,000, and we need to amend that amount to the $40,255.45. So what was not included was the cost of the lake access that was not configured in the last cost estimate that was given at the last board meeting. So we need to amend that. And I contacted Stuart, and he wanted us to put it under new finish and to approve the new cost. So to amend the contract.
I'll make the motion. I'd like to make a motion to approve the amendment to resolution number 340-21 of the Township Board of the Charter Township of Brandon determining to undertake an important project and to establish and maintain a special assessment district to pay costs associated therewith and approving the plans and estimates of costs therefore as presented.
Second.
All right, and we get a roll call on that, please?
Can
Oh,
I
sorry.
ask a
Yes.
question?
Mhm.
So if we are changing the cost, does the residents need to know if we already had the
We
public
aren't
hearing?
changing it. It just wasn't included in the original calculation. It's the same amount. I'm sorry, Rosalind, if I'm interrupting.
Nope,
I'm
you
just
go
trying
right
to
ahead, you're
I'm
fine.
just trying to understand what we're
Sure.
doing before I vote,
If-
so.
So it was in, Scott had it in his numbers, I did not have it in my numbers, and therefore that's why we made the amendment. And I think maybe how it was worded kind of made it seem like there was another cost
Okay.
for the lake access, even though there's not. So maybe how it was worded, there was question for that.
Okay, but we're not changing the cost on the residents then, what we're doing here?
Nope, it's the same as it's always been for
Okay.
literally the last 10 years.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure what was
If you
going
want to
on.
see it exactly, we're going to get to Upper Bushman later in the agenda, and it's on the back page, and you'll see the lake
Okay.
access part of that.
Okay. I'm good then, thank you.
All right, roll call, please.
DePalma,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
Thurman,
Yes.
Unruh,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Broughton,
Yes.
Rumble.
Yes. All right, motion carries. That brings us into our new business, and we have the Parks and Rec contract. Fred, you want to speak on this?
Well, the time's finally come for that concession stand, comfort station agreement stage. We got approved by the DNR to be recommended to the federal government, and that's where it's sat for quite a while. And now we just got notified about I don't know, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, something like that. And I thought HRC was going to handle that. Our communication was slow going at that particular time, and then so I went ahead on the website and got all the preliminary work done. It's just ready. It's ready to be sent once I have the signature on the agreement, approved agreement. We can move forward. Then I got back with HRC. They're going to send us a like an estimate on what they think their cost is going to be, so we don't run into this issue with the last two grants. They donated a lot of their time, which adds up to money, and they don't want to get into that again. So hopefully, when this thing goes out to bids, the timeline is get this agreement back to the federal government. Federal government does their thing. We're looking at construction or out to bids within 90 days, construction this spring, hopefully with a general contractor. Times are changing, costs are rising again, so we'll have to see where we're at. Now, there's all the items for that particular grant, scope items, has been done by HRC in 2019, so we shouldn't be too far bad with cost estimates. Like the other ones, we wrote the grant in 2016, 2017, and we started construction 5 years later. So hopefully we'll be on top of this one a little bit better than as far as financially. HRC's estimate that they gave the first time around was around $30,500, and let's hope they stick around that spot. So basically, what I'm asking the board is to move forward on signing the agreement and get the ball rolling on the concession stand, Comfort Station, which has an attached pavilion. And there's been a lot of private networks out there or identities that want to run the concessions for us, and we charge them for the building. That's something that I would go to the park subcommittee to see if we even want to do that. But it could be open just like a store almost out there.
So Fred, as we discussed on Friday, I was going to ask you the same questions again. How much have we received back from on the grants for Grant 1 and 2 so far?
Okay, Grant 1 is finished. The paperwork is out of Mary Carlock's hands now to the next level of the DNR, so I don't know how long that's going to take. Everything's
That's not
been
what
slow.
I asked. How much have we received so far?
Oh, 0.
Okay. Grant
But that
2?
doesn't mean we're not going to get it. I just want to ensure the board.
We've been saying that we originally submitted almost 2 years ago now, Fred.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a lot of money sitting out there that we haven't received any reimbursement on.
Like I said, all the PSBs on Grant 1 are done out of Mary Carlock's at the next level. This stuff takes time. The Grant 2, what's left on that is the basketball court, which I just had notification last week that should be finalized within 30 days, and we should be able to get the basketball court done. That grant will be finalized. So what John from HRC told me, that the final paperwork is in, the full reimbursement has been submitted to the federal government and DNR. They work together because it's a federal grant.
Mm-hmm.
And when we expect the money, I don't know. It'd be less 10%. And then the second grant, the PSBs are all done with the exception of the basketball court. And it's going to go quicker because we use the same contractors from Grant 1 to Grant 2.
But in total, it's what, $225?
We got $150,000 on the first grant will be reimbursed. $70,000 on the second grant will be reimbursed.
And then secondly, I don't believe this, my first has a bearing on how I vote tonight, but the second, I'm just kind of passing along to the Parks and Rec Subcommittee. I still have this issue with this unisex bathroom business, so if you can discuss that more in your Parks and Rec, pass on the concerns I had.
Yeah, the concern, and it's a good one, because we had as the sheriff department can verify, we had a kid down here at the Sherman Park, locked himself in the bathroom. He was sleeping in there. He got kicked out of his home. So that brought up an issue while people were locking themselves in the bathroom. We had a key to get in. As a matter of fact, I'm the one that opened the door, and I'm like, what's going on? Why the door doesn't open? And I found him in there. He wasn't homeless. He just got kicked out of his house.
I didn't really get to finish my sentence. It's not that I have a problem with unisex bathrooms. I have a problem with having these unmanned or unchaperoned bathrooms, if you will, that are lockable, especially during non-event hours where kids can go do what kids do or drugs as well.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Greg might be interested in that for input somewhere down the line.
I looked up an old letter from Cindy Burkhauer, who's the Universal Accessible Advocate, and she helped with the documentations to put in the grant to get us those points for the Universal Accessible items. And she says changing the bathroom's design to incorporate single users, family-friendly, universally accessible toilets will be best serve the people with variety of abilities and families. So she didn't say nothing about the locking system, so I think that's something that the engineers are gonna come up. I know a lot of the state parks, you just push them open, and they got numerous stalls. Well, we're just
Right.
gonna have basically one stall, so I think people want their privacy. I don't know what the answer is to this locking. I understand that we don't want people locking themselves in there and doing stuff they're not supposed to do.
Maybe a locking stall instead of a locking bathroom.
That's what I suggested to Fred, but then that assumes men and women sides.
And I'm sure that's what they're gonna
Okay,
do.
so I think one way, and this is just my thought, is once the park closes for the night,
You lock them up.
you lock the bathroom up. Someone always, who?
Ooh.
Well, who's
Our
ever.
maintenance men,
Huh?
our maintenance people.
Yeah,
Every
someone,
night, there's somebody's gonna go out there and
every
do
night
that?
the bathroom has to get locked and has to get unlocked.
Yeah,
I mean, the park
maintenance
gets
people
locked.
aren't out there at
No,
dusk.
that's not gonna happen.
Why wouldn't it?
You're gonna pay somebody to stay here till dusk?
No,
every
they
night
just-
to do that?
I worked for Davison Parks and Rec as well, and what we did there is the sheriff department,
No, yeah.
the law enforcement went and locked everything up for us, but, the gate and everything, but we have a gate that locks itself. So right there, right, the gate locks.
Anyway, I've gotten us off topic. I just wanted to throw it. I want the Parks and Rec Committee to discuss that more, and this is the way I can get that to happen, by throwing it out here tonight.
Yeah. I don't, it's, like I said, the engineers are gonna have to figure what's the best for us. And, I know the grant states that it's just accessible bathroom, but they didn't say anything about the locking system. That's all part of the engineering, what they come up with.
Or you just have it, yeah, we'll talk about it on Park, I'm on Parks and Recs, I'll make a
Right.
note of it, and I'll try to come up with different ideas. Maybe it's just open when events are going on there, when the sledding hill, it's open, when there's, soccer there, when there's flag football there, when there's baseball there, and who's ever running that stuff. But this is off topic, but we'll figure something.
Fred, when they talk about accessible, I don't think they mean you can get into the bathroom. I think they mean that, like you say, all walks of life can use it.
Right.
So,
Like I say,
so-
they didn't
yeah,
use-
with
they don't- that's
wheelchair.
why they
Yeah,
didn't
so
mention
it's
thing on the
not-
locks.
It's not that we have to have it.
Now, the bathroom down at Sherman Park was built with CDBG grant money. That door, when people use the bathroom, they just bolt it, but I can undo the bolt. And the village, we were locking it up during the day, we only opened it when we had programs. They told me they want it open all the time. And so we just left it open. We didn't bother locking it at all. So, because they want it to be a public park.
Right.
So it's a decision, I think the bathroom should be locked when we're done with our soccer. See, soccer gets over with at 7:30, 8 o'clock is the latest. Some of the programs, other than special events, like movie night, we're gonna want it open. So I think we're gonna have to lock them up after events. Now you got somebody coming in at 8:30, 9 o'clock, they wanna use the bathroom and they're locked. So that's what we gotta decide how we want it. Is it a public restroom or is it an event restroom? But that's down the road. Right now, we want to sign an agreement.
Right. Does anybody want to make that
I do.
resolution? Kathy?
Yes. These grants are not easy to get, so I think we need to go forward with this, because if we don't, then our chances of getting grants further down the road aren't as good.
There's zero.
There's zero, okay. So I would like to make a motion to approve the Land and Water Conservation Fund Development Project Agreement Resolution as presented.
Second.
Thank you, Steve. All right, can we get a roll call on that, please?
Marshall,
No.
Thurman,
Yes.
Unruh,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Broughton,
No.
DePalma,
Yes.
Rumble.
Yes. All right, that brings us into the ordinances that have gone to planning commission and come back. The next three were all approved by the planning commission and 6-0 votes and then brought back to us.
I have
Any-
a question. Is this item, wasn't following, is this item C, D, E, and E?
B,
Or-
C, and D?
Oh, it's B, C, and D. Okay,
Correct.
so all three of them.
Yep.
Okay. And then,
I don't think they were in the right order in the packet. I think B was in the back for some reason.
okay, so, yeah, I was just
Yeah.
having, I could see the two of them, but the third one I wasn't sure on. And then on page 1, there's a typo.
Page 1 of what?
On the first page, after the cover page, Section 2.6, it says medical marijuana caregiver operations under permit as authorized under chapter township. It should be charter township.
I don't even see where you're at, Cassie.
Okay.
Chapter Township.
The first one, amendment to chapter 46, article 3, section 46-211.
Oh, that's not the first one.
Well, the first one in my packet.
Yeah, they're out of order. All right, so section 2.6, you said?
Yeah, 2.6.
Yep,
That-
yep, I got you.
The end of the first line.
Yep.
Should be charter instead of chapter. And then my other question was, how will this be enforced relative to current caregivers? Do we know?
I mean, I'm not enforcing that, so this just be our building department and the police department.
Are
what
there
is-
any plans of enforcing this once it goes into effect?
I can tell you that the sheriff's department and the prosecutor's office, as of right now, will not even look at it. So it will fall on the building department or whoever your local enforcement officers. The prosecutor's office right now will not touch one of these cases. We just were involved in one in Independence Township, involved in the state police, where the state police went in and basically did a raid and ended up losing it in court, the entire case, because there was not a law that specifically defined what was going on. And until that happens, the sheriff's department and the Oak County prosecutor's office is not going to touch it.
Right, isn't that what they told us once we had an ordinance in place, they would?
Yes, but the problem is, the department will, but the problem lies with the prosecutor's office.
Right, will they?
And that's where our issue's at right now.
But you can legally do the raid, though, at that point. Yes?
I wouldn't call it a raid.
Uh, you- uh,
I would not call it a raid. I mean, as of right now, like what we're doing right now, we go out to places where we know or suspect an illegal grow operation, we put pressure on them. But right now, I don't have a leg to stand on as far as to enforce it. So
But I
something
guess,
under
let me
the
ask the
ordinance,
quick,
local attorneys, possibly.
I think this is a question that I can ask on camera. Regardless of if the prosecutor is going to do their job, you can do your job if we pass these ordinances. And part of that would be if there's a known situation where you can legally go in, you can at least confiscate, yes?
No.
Oh,
Not. This just came up with an address in this township. I know it's an illegal grow operation out there. Me and Jason had many conversations over this residence. I was flat out told that if they had over the 72 plants right now, that we cannot even confiscate it because they're worried about a lawsuit down the road. If I confiscate, I have to do something with it. And legally, they don't believe we have the law is specific enough to even confiscate it.
man.
That is where our issue's at, is with the prosecutor's office. And the issue that the state had in Independence Township, the courts did not uphold it, and they lost it after confiscating it. So it is a major problem, and across the state.
If I can just add to it, and then this is sort of confirms what Lieutenant Glover is saying. We have several homes, well, more than 2 homes in this community where people have paid cash for the home, where they have a pole barn structure. They're not even living in the home, and they're having obviously a grow operation going on. You can take the cop out of the boy, but you can't take the boy out of the cop, or however that goes. I did some of my own investigation, and I've had conversations with area township supervisors. This is happening everywhere.
Yes.
Where it's like epidemic proportions, and And again, and I took my findings from my investigation. Did I give you a copy? I think I did.
I think so.
Yeah. And I also sent it to state police. Oh, they backed away. Oh, no. We're not going to deal with that.
I can tell you from the very first conversations of when this law was passed, everybody knew it was going to be a nightmare because nothing was specific enough. And I have been told numerous times, and I don't agree with it, because it's flat out illegal under the umbrella of what was voted on, that the Oakland County Prosecutor's Office said we will not be the state of Michigan test case. And that's exactly what our department has said. They are waiting for somebody else to be that test case. And until then, that's why I have said to you guys, I said, whoever your ordinance officer is going to be for your enforcement stuff, until you pass something that until somebody goes out there and enforces that you cannot run a commercial business out of a residential home, it doesn't give us a lot of leg to stand on to even, I mean, nobody's going up and approaching those people right now. And I'll give you the one that has come up off of Ramsey. I mean, we a lot of calls on that place. We went out there, spoke to the guy, spoke to myself. We walked through his operation. That guy was 100% legal except for the height of his fence. He had exactly 72 plants. He knew what the law was, and we said, hey, you got to raise the fence so people can't see it. The Rolling Acres address, that is a big problem for us. I was out there today. They have now put up surveillance cameras and put up a gate across their driveway, and now when they go in, they close the gate. We can't even get in there. And I know that person, I'd be willing to bet my mortgage on it, that he has way over 72 plants because residents have sent me photos of what's going on there. But nobody's going up there to enforce that, and they don't live there. Somebody lives in Sterling Heights.
This ordinance is set up to, for fines. So would you be able to issue fines to, once this goes into effect, to any residential
Well,
place
fines
that
would
has?
come through the court, not-
Well, so the fine is given by the court, it's not the township that gives the fine on an ordinance?
Ultimately,
We write the violation.
Yeah,
and
we
they
write
go
the
to
violation.
our
Ultimately, the court
attorneys.
makes that decision.
But that's not going to fix the problem, no.
So we can't collect the fee until the court?
Until it's heard in court, and
Well,
nobody
it's heard in
wants
court, and the court makes, the judge ultimately makes that
Nobody wants to
decision.
take it to court.
Right.
Okay. So
That's the
that's
problem.
kind of just wasted words?
Well, to me, it's something to start with.
I agree.
We have to
I
start
at least
somewhere.
wanna get this on the
Absolutely.
books,
We have
but
to
I
start
was-
somewhere.
I wanted to know how far we could help
And I
you in doing your
tell you
job.
that the prosecutor's office, the sheriff department, is waiting for local municipalities to set their own rules. And we'll see where they go. I mean, it's very frustrating for me, I mean, because we have really been at a dead end on this. I'm telling you, I could stop a semi right now on M15 full of marijuana from top to bottom illegally and be able basically to do nothing about it. So from a law enforcement perspective, it is really frustrating.
My biggest problem with this is it just doesn't go far enough. It's not restrictive enough. And
Well, this is what Stuart recommended. though.
yeah, I know.
Also, is there a permit, it's permitted, is there a permit fee involved? And where do they set the permit fees? Because
What-
I looked through here and I didn't see anything about permit fees.
No, I don't think that those are established. You can't establish fees until you have an ordinance.
Okay, so that would be
You're
a
right.
subsequent part of the
So-
ordinance?
Yeah, it would have to be added.
So then after we could set a permit fee for the caregivers?
Well, and it says that it's supposed to limit them to only the 12 plants for themselves. They would not be able to do the additional plants, is what Stuart told me.
Okay.
Because it's allowing for a grow operation, basically,
Only in those other two districts. But
in the industrial and the C4. And then I have an understanding that some representatives from our township took a trip to a grow operation in Lake Orion, and I was just wondering what was seen, or is there a report, or?
I can tell you, I went to a grow operation in Fenton, I believe it was, or Burton. can't remember where it was. And it was not run out of a pole barn. I mean, these were highly regulated. They measure everything. Their personnel there have to be licensed. They have to have degrees and whatever the degrees are for raising marijuana. They have ex-law enforcement, ex-correction department personnel that act as their security. It was not run out of a pole barn.
Well, the one that I went to, in Orion, to be honest with you, I was absolutely shocked at what we walked into, because it was, I mean, very professionally run, and the standards that they have set, that the state has set on them is
And
I'm amazed that they're able to meet them, to be honest with you. It was
That's
very
the whole
professional.
point, though, right, Greg? The whole thing they tout about that Orion, whatever you want to call it,
Yeah.
because from the outside, there's no signage. You don't know what it is. You can't smell it. You can't see it.
You can't smell it.
You
'Cause
can.
I smelt it the minute we hit that.
Oh, well,
guy even
that's
got
your
near it.
trained nose. The way it's explained by other people that have visited is that you can't even tell it's there.
I heard you can smell it
Oh,
from
you can
someone I
smell it.
know who
Make no
visited
mistake.
it.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Apparently, they had the air scrubbers that were so strong that they were fixing that. And
So
I've heard two different stories on that.
So here's my question. So Orion has that. So do they have an ordinance in place that allowed that then is stopping
Yes.
the illegal ones there?
I don't know what their ordinances are. I know that
They
every.
opted in, Dana, to
Yeah, they did.
to the grows.
Okay.
But
Okay, so that's the difference.
every
Okay.
township around us is coming up with local ordinances to try to stop what's going on as far as people moving into the township or buying a home and a piece of property in a pole barn and not living there, and basically running a business out of that house. And that's, I mean, I got a text today on this Rolling Acres issue, and they said the gate's open, and we're waiting for a day for the gate to be open so we can go up and challenge them to where I can go up and say, look, I want to see your LARA paperwork, I want to say who you are a caregiver for, and I want to go in and look and see how many plants you have. And we have not been able to get that far yet. I mean, literally, they close the gate, and they're so sporadic when they come. And as soon as we get to the front gate, we're on camera, and somebody calls. So I mean, it's an issue for us. It's been a little bit of a challenge.
So I know that we talked about this as a starting point. Is there any time we can have maybe another meeting, like a workshop, to come up with other ideas? I know Rosalind mentioned an idea before about limiting, what was that, like?
The amps that someone
The
can build
amps.
their house.
So, could we look into adding something like that on too? I mean, we do this ordinance, we add on the amp thing through have the planning commission look into that, or
I know the prosecutor's office mentioned a smell ordinance too,
Yeah.
related to
so
those.
That's come up quite
Can we
often.
start with this and then go and look at the amps and the
We
smell
can do
ordinance and
whatever
all
we
that
take to the
stuff?
planning commission, whatever we take to them, yeah.
Right,
I
so I'm
think-
saying, so can we have another meeting to discuss what we can do on top of this?
I think you need to start somewhere. We have to have a basis to get on these pieces of property and to start enforcing something. I can tell you with recreational use, where somebody's growing it outside of their residence in plain view, we have written those tickets and been successful. When they're growing it out in the wide open for everybody to see and any kid to walk by, we have been successful with that prosecution.
What are you citing them under for that one?
It's under the recreational use that it still has to be under lock and key, and it's not. It's out in plain view. And-
Not the fact that they weren't licensed, because they have the A, B, C, and D license.
No, because it was for recreational use only.
For personal.
So on their property.
Oh, under
On their own
personal.
property. But and often it was cases where we were out, like, trying to make a warrant arrest, and we happened to walk around the place, and here's these plants out and wide open. Or we've had calls about it from people because their kids are running around it.
Well, Jason, I'm trying to figure out, as I read through these, but you've got these B, C, and D, because I'll make a motion to get this thing started.
Does that suggested motion cover all of them?
Yeah, that was. my
No,
question.
they were separate, so we did them separate the first time, and I think we should do them separate this time.
Yeah, I agree with that. They're just stapled, so it was hard to know which
They were
one's
just
B,
stapled
which
all
one's
together.
C, which one's D.
This one, amendment to chapter 18 is first, which was in the back.
Okay.
Right there.
So which order are they in?
It should be the amendment to chapter 18, then 46.3, 211, and 46.3, 214 is last.
Okay. Yeah, they were out of order.
Yep, they were out of order.
So B is the 18, you said?
Yep, amendment to chapter 18.
And then And
C is 46-211.
and then B, thank you.
Yep.
Because there really isn't no suggested motion,
All
I'll
right.
make a motion to.
resolutions. Go ahead.
Resolution, I'll make a motion to approve the second reading of this resolution. Is that the best
No,
way?
Of the
no, it's an
ordinance.
ordinance.
Okay.
Sorry, I said resolution.
You did, okay. I make a motion to accept the second reading of this ordinance as
The-
presented.
The medical marijuana caregiver permitting ordinance.
Well, he can make his motion.
Yeah, well, I thought we'd already determined the numbering
We
of
did.
these, so.
But she's asking that's the one you're talking about, right?
It is, the
Okay.
first one,
Okay, so your motion
Amendment to
is,
Chapter 18 of the
Yes.
Code of Ordinances.
Okay.
This one right here.
all right. Lisa, do you have something from what he said for a motion?
Accept the second reading of the medical marijuana caregiver ordinance.
amendment to Chapter
Amendment to
18
Chapter 18.
of the Code of Ordinances, yeah.
It's the caregiver permitting ordinance.
Permitting ordinance.
All right, I will second that, Scott. Any other questions on this item?
I'm sorry, who seconded it?
I did.
Okay, Jason.
Greg?
One answer what Scott's going to do. I've said this from day one with this, if whatever ordinance passes and wherever we start at, if the local, whether it's Steve McGee, if he goes out to one of those residents, we will absolutely go with it. I love, it gives us a foot in the door. I'd be more than happy if we will go out with a car, do whatever we got to do.
Thanks, Greg. All right, roll call on that, since it's an ordinance.
Thurman,
Yes.
Unruh,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Broughton,
Yes.
De Palma,
Yes.
Marshall,
For the reasons I gave, no.
Rumble,
Yes. Motion carries. Kathy?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the amendment to Chapter 46, Article 3, Section 46-211. Oh, wait, am I doing the wrong one?
No, that's the right one.
That's the next one? Okay. 46-211 of the Code of Ordinances, Charter Township of Brandon, as presented.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Steve. Any other questions on that item? Roll call, please.
And that was to approve for second reading. I
Yes.
don't know if I said that.
Yeah.
Unruh,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Broughton,
Yes.
De Palma,
Yes.
Marshall,
No.
Thurman,
Yes.
Rumble.
Yes. One more.
I can go ahead and make a motion to approve for second reading the amendment to Chapter 46, Article 3, Section 46-214 of the Code of Ordinances, Charter Township of Brandon, as presented.
All right.
Second.
Thank you, Steve and Kathy. Any questions? Lisa, roll call,
Blair?
please.
Yes.
Broughton,
Yes.
De Palma,
Yes.
Marshall,
No.
Unruh,
Yes.
Rumble.
Yes. All right, motion carries. That brings us to,
Did you call me on that one? I don't remember hearing my name.
I thought you did. Did you?
Yes. Did I? No, I may have skipped over you.
Oh, nope. guess
Thurman.
not.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lisa. Okay, that brings us into the next one, which is the Bellland Falls Estates Number 4 Sewage Disposal System. We do have Adam here from Water Resources Commission. You can come on up, Adam. If there's any questions, basically, what was it? Probably last April, you guys approached me, and we've been working on it since then.
Sounds about right, yes. Hello, I'm Adam Hopper. I am here to represent the WRC for any questions.
Yep.
Might be fielded toward this transfer of ownership, I shouldn't say transfer of ownership, transfer of service. of
I
the
do have a question for
septic
you.
system.
We spoke just briefly right before the meeting started, and we had assumed a certain amount that we were going to be, and when I say we, the Zarita Special Assessment District, not we, the township.
Correct.
That was going to be refunded back because there was an overage of charges over the years. You made a statement along the lines is because of this last storm and an electrical outage that number is now going to be decreased. And maybe you can explain that. I didn't understand. I understood the statement, but I didn't understand why.
Yeah, when you say overage, I just want to be clear that that extra amount is always put into all of the services that we do for any communities, and that is an emergency backup reserve fund.
Yeah.
So therefore, if you have a pump or two that burn up in a storm, maybe that site gets hit by lightning and it burns the pumps up or the control panel, that money's there to pick up that cost to get things rolling and get things paid for, get it back online. So,
But what happened in this last storm that you said that?
yeah, so the power was out to the station for several days, and the station still received water from the houses. Some people must have generators and it was running their well pumps, and they were able to flush their toilets. And so there was no power to the station because it does not have a backup generator on site. So we had to call in a truck to pump the station out because we couldn't get our hands on a generator.
So there was an extra pumping?
Extra pumping cost, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, all the generators were taken from all the other sites that were out of power, and we had to call in a pumping company.
Okay.
And the pumping company started making some headway on that and really couldn't get close enough to the tank. They were leaving ruts in the grass, so we didn't want to lose the truck and get it stuck in the soft grass. If you've been down Zarita Street, you know it's a real low area, real swampy, so that got backed out, and then a generator did become available. That got brought on site, and power was restored long enough to pump the station down.
Okay.
So, yeah, there was some cost involved in that operation.
But
Very
do we-
unusual. Normally that doesn't happen.
We understood that we're going to be taking ownership of this as far as local company pumping, but as far as going from the homes to the, I guess, common tank.
Sure, yes.
Am I hearing that if power goes out, there's going to be an issue without having a generator out there, or is that?
Well, it's a gravity system, so when you flush your toilet, it's all gravity, makes it all the way over to the pumping station. So
Okay.
from the house to the pumping station, it's all gravity. Once it gets to the pumping station, if power is out, an alarm will go off, and it's battery powered. And when one of the residents sees the alarm, they call it in to, right now, Oakland County. Oakland County then sends a person out to assess the situation and bring in a generator if needed.
Right, so this resolution is replacing Oakland County Water
Right.
Resources Commission with Harrison Ho.
Yeah,
And-
we don't own, Oakland County doesn't own the site. We
Sure.
just have done the service since, the prints I saw were 1973, 48 years ago.
Right.
Oakland County has always run it, WRC. Water Resources Commission used to be called the Drain Commission for any old timers that are used to the Drain Commission terminology.
That hurt.
I'm one of them. I'm one of them. So the WRC runs it now, and that's all we do is run it. We just provide an at-cost service. We've done that for many treatment plants in this area, but through the years, those treatment plants have gone away. They've hooked up to the sewer, or they've just gone away altogether. And Bell Ann is one of the last in the area. The Brandon Schools, as you know, has its own wastewater treatment plant. That also was run by Oakland County at one point. It is not anymore. So to bring our employees and our resources out for just Bell Ann, it's not worth the cost anymore.
Oh, we agree. There's no argument there. Just for everyone on the board, it's referred to as Ballot Falls because that's the way old name. We've referred to it as Zarita.
Oh, okay.
That's why if you heard me saying Zarita Sad, that's what we refer to. Just like really this whole area at one time was referred to as Brandon Gardens, I believe. So okay.
Yep.
So is there going to be any difference from the service that Harrison Ho can provide as opposed to what the service that they have been getting from the Water Resource Commission?
No, there's not really. He's going to do the same stuff, and he's going to pump it more often, actually.
Oh, okay.
And
So,
is there
it's
going
going to be a significant cost reduction too, to the residents.
Just because for Oakland County to get even a truck way out here where there was a big cost versus
Yeah, I mean, you
Harrison
had,
Ho
what, you
is
say,
in the
2 hours
area.
of drive time just to get here and back?
We have and back, a round trip of 2 hours, yes.
Yeah, so
We're coming out of
they were
Commerce
paying that every time.
Township.
Will Harrison Ho ever have to provide a generator?
I mean,
It depends on the
that would be up to him.
length of the power outage.
If they did, yeah. I would assume so if it was out for a while.
I don't know the
When I
full,
spoke to him, it's one of the things we talked about.
Yeah, this is
It's
Ken,
the
by
first
the way,
time
sorry.
it's happened in the 30 years I've been there,
Mhm.
you know, so we're hoping this is not an issue, but if there is, then that's how we're gonna have to handle it.
I've also been with Oakland County for 22 and a half years, and this is the first time we've had such an extended power outage in the area. Yeah. I don't know how
And it
long.
was only 2 days, so it was literally
We've
20
had-
minutes shy
had
of 2
them
days.
before.
It really wasn't
Okay.
terrible. The guys across the street were out for 5.
Okay.
But the
They-
actual pump itself was only out for 2 days.
Okay.
I was gonna say they must have got lucky through that ice storm a few years back
Yeah.
then if they were. I was gonna say that was a long one. I
And
guess
Stuart has already approved this. Him and I
Okay.
drafted it together.
So my question would be then is if it is going to be a cost savings, where do we stand on the Zarita's SAD? Is it needing
Their
to be up?
amount that will be withheld in their taxes going way down.
Okay. And that SAD is still running right now? That's not up for renewal or anything? So
No, we're renewing it as well.
Okay. And we're allowed to make, during the middle of a SAD, you can make change of service
This
without
one
an
was
issue?
never a true SAD because this was due to a court order back from
The 70s.
1973.
Okay. Okay, that's what I thought. That's what I was getting a little confused about.
And so that's why Stuart
The court and stuff. Okay.
was more involved with writing this because it's
Okay.
not a true SAD.
Okay. That's what I was thinking. It wasn't. That's why I was confused. Thank you.
Yep.
I can make a motion if you're
Okay.
ready. I'd like to make a motion to approve the Brandon Township Belen Falls Estate Number 4 Sewage Disposal System Resolution as presented.
I'll support it.
All right, roll call, please.
Broughton,
Yes.
DePalma,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
Thurman,
Yes.
Unruh,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Rumble.
Yes. All right, that brings us into the next item, which is the police liaison contract. Stuart has reviewed this as well.
I'll make,
And
go ahead.
we did add some provisions in this because our police contract expires December 31. And we do not know what is going to happen with that contract. It is in negotiations with the union, so we'll see what happens. So there are provisions accounting for that. So basically what that means is the second amount on here could be higher if the contract goes up.
I'll make the motion to approve the 21-22 intergovernmental agreement to provide a police liaison officer for Brandon School District from September 7th, 2021 through June 16th, 2022, as presented, and allow the supervisor and clerk to sign the agreement.
Support.
Thank you, Dana and Rosalind. Lisa, we'll go with the roll call on that too.
DePalma,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
Thurman,
Yes.
Unruh,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Broughton,
Yes.
Rumble.
Yes. All right. Thank you.
I'm going to interrupt you. Adam, I don't think you need to stay unless you really want to. Okay.
Congratulations.
And the wife needs me there.
Thank you.
Have
for
a good
coming.
night.
All right, the next one is the Consumer Energy Company Gas Franchise Ordinance. This was sent to us recently. Stuart has reviewed it, and Stuart basically said it's something we have to sign. So
I can make a motion.
go ahead.
I love choices.
I'd like to make a motion to approve for first reading the Consumers Energy Company Gas Franchise Ordinance as presented.
Support.
All right, we'll take a roll call. I'll just do roll calls.
Marshall,
Yes.
Thurman,
Yes.
Unruh,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Broughton,
Yes.
DePalma,
Yes.
Rumble.
Yes. All right, motion carries. So that brings us to the special assessment districts.
Alrighty.
Rosalind?
So, on August 2nd, 2021, there was a public hearing held for the Upper Bushman Lake Algae and Weed Control, SAD number 3. At that time, we heard comments of those who were in favor and opposed to the cost estimate. Tonight's public hearing was held to hear who was in favor of the assessment roll. I have not received any emails, phone calls from residents that live on the lake saying they are in favor or opposed to it. So tonight, the resolution that we have is confirming the Upper Bushman Lake Algae and Weed Control SAD number 3. The cost estimate of the improvements is $40,255.45. The Upper Bushman Lake Algae and Weed Control SAD number 3, special assessment roll assessing on the sum of $219.59 a year for 5 years against the 14 parcels in the district, which includes the admin fee of the 5% and all cost and attorney fees. And further include a credit from SAD 2, and there's a surplus carrying over not to exceed $26,000.
Rosalind, is that what we're charging now, 5%? I know we were.
For the fee for the SADs, the admin fee?
Because at one point we were talking 7%, and I just can't remember where
No,
it landed.
it was at
It used to be
7.5 and we
7.
dropped it to 5.
But the board approved that, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
back in 2018.
Okay. I remember it was
Yeah.
kind of bouncing around, so,
Yeah.
all right, thank you. I can go ahead and make a motion. I'd like to make a motion to approve the resolution confirming Upper Bushman Lake Algae and Weed Control SAD number 3, special assessment roll as presented.
Support.
Was that Steve?
Yes. All right, we have the motion and seconded. Can we take a roll call on that, please?
Thurman?
Yes.
Unruh?
Yes.
Blair?
Yes.
Broughton?
Yes.
Palma?
Yes.
Marshall?
Yes.
Rumble?
Yes. All right, that brings us to the Shelmar Lane SAD number 4.
Okay, so at our last board meeting, the board voted to take action to move forward with the special assessment district number 4 for Shelmar Lane. Within that public hearing, we had public input to receive comment on the escrow and the surplus. The resolution being presented tonight is to show the cost estimate for the $29,940. And that's for also the 5 years.
I'd like to make a resolution, or make a motion, I'm sorry. I'd like to make a motion to approve the resolution for Shelmar Lane's Special Assessment District Number 4 of the Township Board of the Charter Township of Brandon determining to undertake an important project and to establish and maintain a special assessment district to pay costs associated therewith, and approving the plans and estimates of costs therefore as presented.
I just want to mention too that the surplus involved is not to exceed the $4,800.
And that's written in the resolution.
Yep.
Yes, it's number 4.
Second.
Thank you, Steve. Roll call, please, if there are no questions.
Unruh?
Yes.
Blair?
Yes.
Broughton?
Yes.
Palma?
Yes.
Marshall?
Yes.
Thurman?
Yes.
Rumble?
Yes. Brings us to the Legault SAD.
Okay, so our last one. The resident dropped off a petition for Legault Boulevard on the private road maintenance special assessment district. Along with that petition that was dropped off, cost estimates for gravel, chloride, and snow plowing were submitted to the clerk's office. There will also be a surplus involved, and we're here to take public input. I have not heard any. And so
Yeah, just so
We're
the
just
board
taking
knows.
action.
Yeah, these are different stages of SADs right now. This third one that Rosalind's doing is the earliest stage, right?
yeah.
I'll make a motion. I'd like to make a motion to approve the resolution of the Township Board of the Charter Township of Brandon tentatively declaring its intention to make an improvement and establish a special assessment district for Legault Boulevard private road maintenance as presented.
Support.
All right, if we take a roll call on that.
Blair?
Yes.
Broughton?
Yes.
Palma?
Yes.
Marshall?
Yes.
Thurman?
Yes.
Unruh?
Yes.
Rumble?
Yes.
Can I interrupt before we move forward now that we've gotten through these 3 SADs? And because we have a total of 6 that we're in various stages of. Kathy, at some point, the board decided that we didn't like doing SADs for 10 years and we limited them to 5. Do Do you know, maybe that didn't even happen during your tenure. If not, then I won't even ask the question. I'd like to move back towards 10-year SADs. The amount of time that's gone into this on the front end of getting these done is unnecessary. These are ongoing for a very long time, all of these. And to have to go through all this process every 5 years, it seems unnecessary to me.
All we need to do is amend our policies.
Okay.
And maybe, there's some SADs, maybe they only want a short duration, so maybe we could make it.
I've actually had the residents complain to me why do we
they
have
want
to
it
keep
more.
doing
So
this?
maybe we
Yes.
could make that opportunity to the residents, and they can choose to make it longer.
Okay.
But
I
it's
just didn't know if you knew if there was a reason why we decided that 10 years weren't working.
Well, my question would be is about the 10 years, is the cost, the change in maintenance, the change in weed control and stuff like that. Could that cost be
They adjust
so?
every year anyways.
Oh, SADs will adjust based on what the cost is. It's just the whole agreement is 10 years, but
Right.
then they know in it their cost could change.
Yes.
Okay.
But the amount that they collect doesn't change.
The way they were doing it, it did. It changed every year. I've tried to I've flattened out all the SADs now, so it's the same amount being withdrawn year after year versus the way they were doing it was on a rolling basis. As the costs increase each year, they would withdraw more in the SAD. But what I've found is with all of these SAD special assessment district for everybody out there, is they have such a surplus that they've overestimated their costs.
Yeah, they tend to do that.
And so that's never been a problem where we've had to go back and tell the homeowners, no, you did not properly estimate the cost of weed control, the cost of road maintenance, and so therefore we're going to have to increase the special assessment district because we only collect what we're told in the special assessment district. And if costs go over that, it really is a cutoff. No, there's no more funds. It's not like we're going to float you the money until 3 years from now.
Right.
But that has never, from what I've observed, has not, in my 1 year of experience here, that has not happened yet. So.
And I don't remember that happening in the past.
Right.
But it just amounts to making a policy amendment, and you can wordsmith that policy amendment to however you think it would work best.
So just as long as you weren't aware of, yes, there's a great reason why we didn't do that.
No, I'm not aware of that.
Okay, then we'll leave it up to the particular special assessment, how they want to do it in the future. And once we amend that policy, we'll make a motion to put that on the agenda.
All right, that moves us to item L, which is also Rosalind.
Okay. On November 1st, 2021, the Brandon Township is scheduled to have a board meeting. So I was looking to see, so we're having a board meeting on November 1st. November 2nd, we have the election for the Brandon School District. I was looking to see if we could have our township meeting postponed until November 8th.
I'll make that motion to approve postponing the Charter Township of Brandon's regular board meeting from November 1st, 2021 to November 8th, 2021.
Support.
Thank you.
So
All
I
right.
just added 2021 at the end of the motion. That way we had both had years.
All right, we'll go ahead and everybody good? Okay.
Bob seconded?
Yep. We'll just do a roll call.
Broughton.
Yes.
DePalma.
Yes.
Marshall.
Yes.
Thurman.
Yes.
Unruh.
Yes.
Blair.
Yes.
Rumble.
Yes. All right, brings us to item M, building closure.
Okay, so the Brandon Township, since we're having the special election on November 2nd, I am asking that on election day, we close the building to the township.
Because you'd be using it for.
Because we were going to be using it for the election and preparing for all that fun
I
stuff.
will make the suggested motion to approve closing of the township building on November 2nd, 2021 due to the special election.
Support.
I'll give that to Bob.
All right, any questions? All right, roll call, please.
DePalma.
Yes.
Marshall.
Yes.
Thurman.
Yes.
Unruh.
Yes.
Blair.
Yes.
Broughton.
Yes.
Rumble.
Yes. All right, and the last one here is the master plan being distributed to our adjacent communities. And this is from Doug Luan, our community planner for the Planning Commission. So we're just.
I've got
go ahead.
2 questions.
Okay.
Page 23. My question is, in this, well, first of all, there's no capital in homes, the first word in the paragraph. That's just a typo probably. But I was wondering why in this construction within Brandon Township, insert for the new housing, why the new housing numbers was the same as the commercial numbers, which was the same as the net total. Because wouldn't new housing and commercial be 2 different kinds of homes or buildings?
Well, commercial wouldn't be a home.
Well, yeah.
I'll ask Doug.
Buildings.
I don't know.
And then the next question would be, wouldn't there have been some barns and garages built by then? I know a lot of people are building barns. We always are doing.
Looking at that too. Yeah, so this table just doesn't look accurate.
It says it's only reflecting new housing starts and commercial right in the top sentence.
Okay.
So it's only addressing those 2, but I can ask them why those are the same.
I'm sure we haven't had, like in 2000, we didn't have 97 new commercial.
Yeah.
Sure of it.
Or 804 total.
All right, so we'll ask them about this chart.
Okay.
I know on page 25, some of the schools that were listed within this, those schools are being used for other things. They're not schools.
Plus, that was my second question too, Rosalind. Good job. The Sherman Lifelong Learning Center, didn't they demolish that building?
Yes.
Yeah, it's gone.
So I don't think that should be listed.
Brandon
on there.
Fletcher's not listed. The middle school should be 6, 7, and 8.
Yeah, Brandon Fletcher.
Harvey Swanson should actually probably be preschool through 5th grade. Belle Ann is gone. Oakwood should be kindergarten through 5th grade. I'm not sure if they call the special education center within the high school Smithling. I thought it had a different name to it now. Yes. Thank you.
Adult Transitions, not Smithling.
And H.T. Burt is connected to Harvey Swanson. I don't know if can we talk to Carl? Do they use both names? Is that the preschool and then Harvey's considered K through 5? Okay, so H.T. Burt is actually considered preschool and then Harvey's K through 5. Sorry, I did the best I could with what I know.
I don't think it's fair for Jason to be scribbling down all these. If you know of these specific ones, I think you should send them to him. Because I guess a broader question I would have is because if you've ever seen what the final master plan looks like, are they going to be plugging in the current census numbers then? Because a lot of this is boilerplate, and are they going to end up using the updated census numbers in this? That would be a question I would have.
Yeah, and the latest census number was 15,384.
You said 15,384?
Well, I will call Doug.
Did we pay for this report?
Glad you said it out loud.
You know
because I
what?
was thinking.
Yeah, we did. They paid, but it's ongoing and
This
it
is a
changes
lot.
all the time. It's a lot of work.
I watched the
Oh, I
village
bet.
do theirs, and it went back and forth many times. I would like to see, for the amount that we're paying, I don't know what the amount we're paying for this, but I would like to see maybe a little more care put into them. But
Yeah.
it seems to me like this is a boondoggle for the planning companies, doing these master plans, because they're required. We have to do them.
Yeah, we do.
Yikes.
Spend a lot, and they have to go through certain steps to do this.
And it's also to give them deference. It also ends up having the opinions of multiple boards. It's not just us, but it's the planning commission, and they're trying to aggregate everybody's opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess my question was this when we were supposed to review it, or is there a different time that we will review this before it goes out? That's what I wasn't
No,
sure. 'Cause
this
was
is
on the-
asking us to approve it, just for them to send it out.
Okay, I was thinking that it wasn't complete yet, and we were, but I guess, yeah, okay,
I guess it's really not complete if there's mistakes in it.
yeah.
Right. So, I mean, we can approve it with changes.
As amended.
Yep, as going to be amended.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see, I read this as it was gonna
Or
go.
put with suggested amendments.
I read it as it was gonna go to the other communities for them, and then I thought it'd come back to us to look at, so I didn't look at it in great detail, but I will do that.
No, I
That
think-
already happened.
Right.
Going to other communities already happened.
No, I think
No.
this is asking us to approve sending it to other.
Oh, I thought
Right.
based on the date that already happened.
No.
No, that's why I
think this is our
wasn't,
opportunity to look at it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess I didn't realize that, because that's not what was on the agenda, that's what we were
Because you
supposed
could
to
have a
do.
whole meeting, just review them, we were reviewing the master plan.
Sure.
Yeah. Did the planning commission look at this themselves?
Yep, for the
too,
last
then?
year, it says
Yeah.
right there in the second sentence, or first sentence.
Yeah.
Following a year of work by the planning commission.
Okay.
So
Well, I'll
they did
tell you
not
what,
catch those.
I'm gonna tell you what, I've been on it since what, November, the first I've seen it. So they said, well, we're gonna look at it, and all of a sudden it's on the agenda. So
Yeah,
that's why I
this-
asked, did we pay for this?
This wasn't on the agenda when I left Thursday to go up north, so it got put on there after, and I
This
didn't
is
even see
new
it
to
till
me,
today, so.
okay?
Yeah,
Just so you know.
Yeah.
All new to me.
So, do we want to make a motion to,
They have a suggested
Can
motion
we
in the middle
postpone?
here.
I would rather,
and will you probably set them back another month?
well,
With the changes, they're gonna have to go probably talk about the changes anyway at the planning commission, so we might as well table it. And I don't know, unless Steve, are you aware of a deadline that it has to go to surrounding communities?
no, not that I'm aware of. We had, because they only briefly talked about it. I didn't know it was gonna be on the agenda. They didn't even mention it. I mean, it says coming up.
It wasn't when I left on
Okay,
Thursday.
then I'm totally clueless. This is a surprise to me.
Yeah.
So I did go down to the building department today, and I was asking Stacy about this, and I was kind of going through some things, and I'm like, so what if there's they do, anytime you guys see something, was his name Dave? I'm not really sure, but, they'll call and make
Doug
changes, or,
Doug?
yes,
Yeah.
they'll make changes to it. It wouldn't be a problem.
I know, but how can we be voting on
Right.
something if it's constantly being
Exactly.
changed by
Well, right.
individuals?
Right.
That's
Or
true.
even vote to send it out to the community to
Right,
make their
that's why I
suggestions. We
thought
can't do
that,
that.
that's why I
Not
thought.
this.
Right, that's where I didn't realize we were supposed to be like reading
Yeah, I
it
mean,
to
let's
give you
table it, tell them it needs
changes.
more work than it.
We can make a motion to send it back to the,
Planning commission?
well, or to our planners with the recommended changes, and to bring it back to our next meeting.
Where we're kind of told that we should review, like I said, I didn't know I was supposed to review it for detail to detail, so we need to figure out when we're going to do that and approve it ourselves before we send it on, and know that it's done with all its changes.
Well, and I think if anyone takes this home and reviews it, like within the next couple days, and then calls the building department if they see something and questions it. So we can ask for a revised plan for our next meeting.
Okay.
I'll make that
Again.
motion to ask for a revised plan toward,
Yeah, the only thing,
Our next
the
meeting.
only issue I have with that, Kathy, again, individuals asking for changes, then what am I voting on? Which
Right.
version, you know?
Right.
You see what I'm
that's-
saying versus,
well, we're going to vote on the version they send back to us at our next meeting.
I mean, yeah, I'm fine with either doing that or tabling it altogether and telling them they need more work.
Well, we can
We'll
postpone it.
postpone it, yeah, to the next meeting.
Okay.
Then just let us know what we're supposed to do before the next meeting, which,
Well, I would look at it now if you're gonna want any more changes, so we
And
don't have to do that again.
and then who do we contact the changes?
I mean, you can email them to me and I'll forward them to Doug and or the planning commission.
yeah,
And
there
then-
should be a single point.
Yeah.
Right, that's what I'm wondering. And then when we get in our next packet, we should make sure it's as
Yep.
is. Okay. Thank
All
you.
right, so I'll make a motion to postpone this to a future meeting.
Support.
But can we, we're not fast enough on that.
Well, you can still talk about it.
Can we just put in that motion to when we're going to be bringing it back and at what meeting?
That's that's what you learned at your clerk's.
I did learn that. And I learned not to table something, it's postponed.
It's postponed to another meeting, and you're
Right.
supposed to list the date, so.
But now, aren't you
Whatever
supposed
the
to
date is.
Well, then it's
vote on
gonna
a
be,
sub?
well, then it's gonna be, October, because I don't know the next meeting date before that yet. Because I'm still
Yeah,
waiting
the
on some
October
responses.
regular meeting.
But now don't we get into the Roberts rules of, okay, well, there's already a motion, now we're talking
No,
about
we're
an
fine.
amended motion and.
It's fine, we're just adding a date.
Okay.
All right, so I'll amend my motion to say the October regular meeting.
Yep.
And I'll still support.
All right, we'll take a roll call on that. Two, because of
Marshall?
state
Yes.
consent.
Thurman?
Yes.
Unruh?
Yes.
Blair?
Yes.
Broughton?
Yes.
DePalma?
Yes.
Rumble?
Yes. All right, that finishes that.
Who seconded that?
Bob.
Okay.
Citizens' comments? Greg?
Two things. I want to thank you guys for supporting the school liaison. I've said it for 5-6 years now. I still think it's one of the most important positions we have. So I want to thank you for that. And then second of all, the marijuana issue is it's kind of a pet peeve of mine. And we've had a lot of discussions over it, but I'm also on the Oakland County Child Death Review Board. And the suicide rate increase on junior high age kids using marijuana is off the charts. So from a law enforcement perspective, the marijuana and the driving and those type of things and the effect on the young kids is a big deal to me. But I think that by coming up with a basis for these ordinances, we'll at least get our foot in the door and allow us to continue to pressure that in any way that we can. So I want to thank you for that. Thank you.
Thanks, Greg. Jake?
I wanted to comment on the truth in taxation, just from the standpoint, I want to reiterate something that Trustee Thurman said. There's a reason why we did the budget at the same time we did the truth in taxation. And let me quote from the handbook for municipal officials. Page 134 has a question and answer section. In there it says, do we need to have a public hearing before adopting the budget? And it says yes. It talks about Public Act 43 of 1963. But here's the important point. It says, it's going to be published 6 days before in a newspaper in 11-point type stating, quote, the property tax millage rate proposed to be levied to support the proposed budget will be subject to this hearing. So it doesn't make sense to do a budget in December and do your, in September, October, do your millage rates. Now that comes out of Michigan compiled law, section 211.24E. It talks specifically about the budget hearing, the millage increases, and the hearing requirements. So I just wanted to mention that. Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, board comments. Dana, do you have anything else?
I would like to say that we did look at the fire budget, and I usually typically like to look at a police budget before we finish out for the year, so, or before we determine the truth in taxation. So I don't know if there's any way we can have a workshop before that, or do something with the police budget. We usually do that.
Bob?
I just wanted to mention, this coming Saturday, 9/11, there's going to be an observance down by the old village office, or village hall, and it's going to start in the morning and go all day. One of the things that you might find interesting are the miracle boxes that go out. It's a great program. If you haven't volunteered for it, I suggest you contact the group, and they pack boxes and ship them off to troops that are overseas. But I think it's important we make an observation of 9/11 and keep it in mind.
Steve?
No comment.
Kathy?
I was just wanted to add to welcome everybody to our Septemberfest celebration at the end of the month. Have a good September.
Septemberfest.
Thank you, Rosalind.
I don't have anything, thank you.
I don't have anything else either. Can we get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Support?
Support.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.